Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric Menk, and last night in their fourth game of the FIBA World Cup, Gilas Pilipinas dropped a game to Tunisia, 83-64. They got off to a rough start, especially in the first quarter, and however, I thought in the last 15 minutes of the game, they probably played their best basketball of the tournament, but it wasn't enough. I want to go over one aspect of their game and focus on ball screen defense. We'll talk about some of the principles of ball screen defense, why it is important, and some of the mistakes Gilas Pilipinas made last night in that regard. We're going to use last night's game against Tunisia as an example to talk about some ball screen defense. Let's get right into it. Okay, again, fourth game of the tournament, Gilas Pilipinas, Team Philippines versus Tunisia. Tunisia had won one game. They were 1-2 going into the game. But as we get started here, I wanted to talk about one thing. The basic defense that the Philippines is running on the ball screen is called, coaches call it different things. Some people call it a plug. I've been on a team before where they called it the funnel. Sometimes it's a number call. It's a basic ball screen defense. There's 14 different ways to play the ball screen, and they consistently, since the beginning of the tournament, have been running what they call a plug, shadow, funnel. I'll show you a little bit more of what we're talking about here. Let's take a look at the offense. This is the very first possession of the game. As you can see, Tunisia makes 5 passes here before they even begin to attack. So here they go into an attack. There is a baseline ball screen. You take a look right here now. What the plan here is when this guy comes off, Paul Lee, I think, is going to go over. The reason he's going over is because this guy is a shooter. You always want to go over on a shooter. He will be chasing. As the Tunisia offensive player attacks, it is Andre Blatch's job in this situation it's these two Philippines players' job to stop the ball. The only time Blatch can leave the ball is if the offensive player passes or Paul Lee is able to get back in front and then he can bounce back to his guy. So let's see what happens here. He attacks. Blatch and Paul Lee do a pretty good job here. However, because it's a side ball screen, your offside defenders have to be coming over. I call it contracting. Anytime there's a ball screen on a strong side, that means on one side or the other, your defense must contract to clog up the middle. And then on the pass out, that's when they go out. So Japeth needs to be coming over. He should be, his primary responsibility now is the roller, this man. Gabe should be dropping underneath this big guy, and Bollock should be coming about free throw line on the nail, as they call it, being big with his hands wide. But if this guy rolls, that's Japeth's responsibility. As you can see, he's a little bit late, and he scores. Kiefer is guarding the ball. What did I say? They're running a plug. So he's going to come over. Roll is their naturalized player. He played at UCLA. He's probably their best shooter. So I guarantee in this situation, the rules should be the guy on the ball guarding a shooter coming off the ball screen. Kiefer's job is to go over the top. This guy Almazan needs to be up. Instead, watch what Kiefer does. He goes under. This guy is a premier shooter. What happens when you go under? It's almost automatic that he is going to shoot. Now, Kiefer gets there to contest, but the fact that he went under gave him some space. Fills it. Mental mistake there. Going under on the ball on an elite shooter. Always go over. We got another ball screen action here. Kiefer goes under again. Not quite sure if they had this guy scouted, whether he's a shooter or not, but you're going to see guys go under. Almazan is in a pretty good spot. Fajardo's in a pretty good spot here to pick up the roller. Okay, now this. Here comes a side ball screen, freeze. These guys should be coming over middle. Fajardo's actually in a pretty good spot here. But watch Perez. What's he going to do? He is going to go under. This guy now has a clear look and a lot of space. Perez hustles to contest, but again, when you go under on a shooter, that's a mental mistake. Scores. Ball screen. Everything is pretty good here. Kiefer goes over, fights hard over. Junmar is in great position right here. He can actually be off a little more. Perez can be off a little more. Troy's in a pretty decent spot. He should be picking up the roller. Should number 9 roll to the basket, that would be Troy's responsibility to pick him up. Kiefer's in good position until he gambles. A bad gamble. Junmar did not expect that. Still, Almazan and Fajardo are in a good position here. Kiefer had put the guy on the ball, had put them in a bad position. In for the layup because of the gamble at the top. Here's the ball screen here. Goes over, pretty good position. However, what did I say? This guy has not passed the ball. Baroka is not in front of him. But as you can see, Japeth is already returning back to his guy. As I said earlier, the big man's responsibility, and me as a player, I was in this position a lot, your job is to stop the ball. Only leave the ball if this guy passes or Baroka is able to get back in front, then I can release. But Baroka isn't in front, and this guy hasn't passed, and Japeth is already leaving the ball as Roll goes right in for an uncontested layup. Coming off the ball screen here, again, Paulie does a pretty good job going over the top. It is Blatch's job now to hold up, stop the ball, so Paulie can get in front or until this guy passes. Japeth should be edging over to pick up the roller. This guy should be edging over, ready to rotate. This guy should be help position. But Blatch does not stop the ball. The guy goes in for an uncontested layup. This is an interesting one here. They're coming down. This is on a secondary break. We have a ball screen, but as you notice, it's going to be empty corner because this guy's in the corner. He's filling out to the weak side. So the question here is, again, Paulie's job is the same. He's going over. Blatch's job is the same. Stop the ball. But who's going to pick up the roller here? In this position, Bollock really needs to be alert. Gabe Norwood needs to really be alert because Gabe is the one that's going to have to be helping on the roller, which means Bollock's going to have to drop all the way down. Right now he has his back turned. He's not seeing the ball. So he doesn't know that he's going to have to help the helper down here. Again, Blatch should not leave the ball until Paulie gets in front or the guy with the ball passes or shoots. What Blatch tries to do is cover the ball and cover his roller Unfortunately, it's very difficult to do both. On the pass, this is tough. This is why this is good offense. That's why I like coming down on the secondary break and running a ball screen empty corner with nobody in the corner, because there's a lot of confusion. Guys have to be alert immediately coming across half court. The ball is in the air. Gabe Norwood should be meeting this guy on the block. If he is alert, Bollock should be picking up his man. But Blatch tries to get back. Gabe is a little bit late. Score. 19-point loss. That was just 7 short clips, but based on just those few mistakes, those 7 mistakes that we made defending the ball screen, that cost Philippines 16 points in the game. 2 threes from going under, and various other mistakes, whether it be covering the roller or leaving the ball, the big man leaving the ball. Only a few mistakes can cost your defense and cost your team a lot, and ball screen defense is very important. It should be one of the main things in a team's defensive game plan, because your opponent is going to run probably a ball screen on every half-court possession. Sometimes they run 2, 3, 4 ball screens in one possession. That what they're trying to do is put you in situations where you can make a mistake, and then they can capitalize on the mistake. And the majority of those baskets were easy baskets based off of a few minor mistakes by the Philippines. The Philippines ran a basic plug, and there's nothing wrong with running a basic plug, but you have to be proficient in it, and you have to be detail oriented and get it right every time. If you run great ball screen defense 20 times and 19 of those you're perfect, well, that one time you're not, your opponent is going to score. A few of my thoughts on the game last night. You know, the Philippines didn't shoot quite as bad or as many threes. This is what I talked about against Angola. They only attempted 23 threes. I think they made 8, which is 35%, which is pretty good. But I was actually pretty impressed with Tunisia. I thought that they had a very nice pace. They got off to a great start, and they ran a little bit more of a more complex, a little bit more sophisticated offense than the Philippines, which made it more difficult for us to defend them. They shot a little bit better. To the Philippines' credit, I think they played a little bit better defense, but Tunisia made a lot of tough shots. They shot the ball well. Some of those were pretty well contested, but they just happened to go in. That's why your defense really has to be on point when you're playing in a FIBA competition, because you're playing against the best players in another team's country, and they're able to make tough shots. So you want them to have to make tough shots over 40 minutes. A couple of good things. I thought the Philippines played a pretty good last 15 minutes, or a good second half of the game. I thought they also showed some fight. They were getting after it a little bit defensively, and they were scrappy. So that was good to see. Again, you never like to lose, but you try to take some positives from it. You try to be able to learn from that. And now they have one more game. So they play Iran tomorrow. It's a winnable game for them. It would be nice for them to get a win. We'll see how they do. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about. Us here in the Philippines, although we're a little bit disappointed, we will continue to support them and wish them well and wish them the best of luck. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Enjoy the Philippines' last game of the 2019 FIBA World Cup against Iran. And there's also some really good basketball to be played by some of the other countries going for a medal. So I'll be back very, very soon. Take care. Till next time.